Hey everyone, just a reminder before the episode begins, the last podcast on the Left live show is this Saturday at 10 p.m. at the Creek in the Cave, 1093 Jackson Avenue in Long Island City, Queens. This month is going to see the return of Henry Zebrowski to the stage, back for the first time in months, and it's going to be our last live show until January. And we're also going to be live streaming it on our YouTube page. That is the last podcast on the Left live this Saturday, 10 p.m. Eastern at the Creek in the Cave, 1093 Jackson Avenue, Long Island City, Queens. We'll see y'all there.
There's no place to escape to.
This is the last podcast
On the Left. That's when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
So Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes. What are you thankful for?
It's Thanksgiving weekend. What I would say is it's very strange. It's a whole holiday.
Mm-hmm.
An Italian went in a rickety boat over to a famous land, a land of lore he did not know would exist.
That's right.
And he crashed upon the beaches of the island, and then he decided to kill 2 million people for corn.
They were all killing each other anyway. Come on, people.
So who's coming down on the side of Columbus here? You, Ben?
No! I have no idea. I'm just saying.
And it's not about Christopher Columbus, it's about the Pilgrims, you fucking idiots.
Whatever.
Christopher Columbus, he comes all the way from Italy, and don't you know? And Christopher Columbus, of course.
Yeah.
You know, he went back to the king and queen at fucking France. I don't know where he went to Italy. I don't know
something
history.
like that.
I don't need to know the history.
No.
And he says like, oh, I tell you, if I was gonna name a type of spaghetti, I would have called it rapioli.
I get it. That's very good. Okay.
Because I raped the girl.
Right, we understand. So the Pilgrims, they were very well-dressed murderers. Let's move on to H.H. Holmes, Part 3, another very well-dressed murderer.
Oh my God. Okay, so when we last left H.H., he had just murdered Julia Smith under the guise of an abortion for marriage exchange that Holmes had proposed.
Which is a very classic way to get married.
That's right.
So Julia would not be the last of Holmes's romantic conquests to meet their end in his murder castle. The next would be spotted not by Holmes, but by his shady assistant, Benjamin Pitezel. Now, as we mentioned last episode, Pitezel was an awful alcoholic, which naturally interfered with his duties as Holmes's second in command.
And also, he was a perfectly shaped goon, where he was tall, he was bald on the top and stringy long hair on the sides. He was missing a bunch of teeth, his face all sunken in, but he loved his family.
Like the butler from Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Riff Raff. Isn't his name Riff Raff?
Something like that.
Rascal?
So was Pitezel, was he shady or just extremely faded all the time? He was just always drunk. He was too intoxicated to really be manipulative or
he wasn't
cunning.
No, he wasn't manipulative or cunning at all. He was a total tool.
Yeah, he was a complete and total, completely, again, he's soused 24/7 and also in desperate need of money. And H.H. Holmes just kept being like, oh, ribbity-rib, here's another golden pocket watch. But first must you do is sign a letter saying that you're actually Theodore Bussell. It's all like weird old-timey flim-flams that Pitezel was just like, give me whatever I gotta do, fucking give me my ripple.
So H.H. Holmes was like Captain Spaulding, and this guy is like the idiot who pushes Chris Hardwick and the crew through the haunted house when they actually see H.H. Holmes.
Very much so. Yeah. Now, speaking of flim-flam, as Henry mentioned, Holmes, whilst a well-established flim-flam man in his own right, was also susceptible to other flim-flam men of the age. He believed that a man named Leslie Enroute Keeley had a cure-all for alcoholism and so sent Pitezel to Keeley's rehab facility. Keeley's solution was the so-called Gold Cure, a red, white, and blue concoction that he called the barber pole.
Also what Pitezel called his penis.
Yes, I was going to say, I could go for a couple of barber poles right about now.
The ingredients, aside from pure gold injected directly into the bloodstream, were a closely held secret.
And believe me, again, if any cure involves squirting a precious metal directly into your body,
Right.
go with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think that's still what they do at Passages Malibu.
Because that's what my mom used to do. Because whenever my mom would we would travel to go because my mom doesn't really fly, but she'll go on trains and shit like that. She won't wear her jewelry because she's like, you never know when a con man's gonna try and take your jewelry from you. Because every con man knows sleight of hand.
That's a good
and so
point.
It's like she really does believe. She believes that thieves are far more skilled than they actually are.
Right.
She does believe my mom is a Dickensian woman. She believes that everything is flim flam men and sleight of hand artists and pickpockets. And so that's what she would do. She would hide her gold in a little pouch she would keep inside of her jacket. And what better way to hide your gold than just squirt it inside your own bloodstream?
That's a good point. Yes.
Should have did that with my mother.
Isn't that how they made Wolverine?
That's adamantium.
Yes.
And it's into his bone.
Isn't that something?
It's in his bones.
Or just do what they do in my family, and you get too fat so the ring doesn't come off your finger. And then you also can't even put your own hands in your pockets because the jeans are so tight. So for a con man, it's almost impossible.
Just be too fat to rob.
That's right.
So while Holmes did ostensibly send Peitzel to rehab to sober up, the more likely purpose behind Peitzel's trip was to steal Keeley's secret cure-all formula so Holmes could sell it himself. Again, Holmes, always working an angle. Always got 5 or 6 scams in the air at one time.
It's kind of insane. As it really boils over, as we're going to see as we go through this episode, it's almost, I mean, he's just the psychopath.
Yeah,
He really was we always use Michael Jordan as an example. For this one, I'm going to say John Elway.
Whoa!
He's a real field general.
Yeah.
But bad at it. Where it's like, because John Elway never won a Super Bowl, right?
Well, he did. Yeah. He beat the Green Bay Packers in 96?
His final last 2 years, he won.
Is he gay?
No,
Is he gay?
That's Troy Aikman.
And he's probably not gay. But if you are gay, being quarterback is really a fun position because you got your hands on balls at least 30 times a day.
Yeah,
At
2
least.
sets of balls. You got 9 sits in front of them. You get to pick them. You're like, oh, yeah.
I want that one to be my center.
18 grapefruits. Yeah.
Does the quarterback pick the center based? Okay, boys, bend over. You'll be my center.
Gay.
So not surprisingly, Peitzel did not return with the cure, but he did come back with a report that Keeley had in his employ the most beautiful woman he had ever seen, a woman named Emmeline Sigrand.
And now you know that she's beautiful in 1890s talk because the way she was described by Peitzel was as elegant and dewy. She was a dewy 24-year-old.
So did she smell like wet hay?
No, she was just like moist.
Ugh, dewy.
I was talking about this with my girlfriend. We're saying the same thing. It's like, if you just get a woman physically moist, does that make her more aroused in general?
Like, if you just throw a bucket of water on her?
No,
or push her outside in the rain?
No, spritz her down while she's asleep, so she doesn't know, or run a humidifier at twice the speed.
She's not a cat. No, I don't think that does work.
So Holmes...
I guess I'll never know.
I don't think you will.
So Holmes, working on the description that Peitzel brought back and always on the lookout for some hot trim, started a correspondence with Miss Sigrand and eventually offered her a job as his personal secretary at twice what Keeley was paying her.
This guy had quite the game.
Yeah.
And it's also, I don't know if I can say I admire H.H. Holmes in this fact, but I will say over scams, he always chose Bush. He chose Bush first, so there was something about love in there, which I'm kind of into. It's like, and it wasn't about just killing him to fuck him. It wasn't like Ted Bundy or something like that, where he had to hear the screams in order to get hard. He was fucking him pre-murder as well. He was just into it.
Well, he's like the classic psychopath that will say anything. Like, they will say anything to get a woman to love them and to get a woman to give themselves over to them. That's why a psychopath is so dangerous.
I could see him crushing QVC. You know, just being a Billy Mays type or the ShamWow guy.
To be honest, Fox News.
Fox News, he would crush anything where it's just full of lies. He will absolutely destroy it.
Because he just
you can make lies true.
Exactly, and he just gets pleasure out of the lie succeeding. Nothing else matters. But the problem is, again, with the psychopath, that pleasure is in and out.
But what is the truth? If you take an herbal medication that has absolutely no actual medicine in it, but it makes you feel better, does it work?
I mean, that is a very interesting concept about reality, which I, again, will say once more, if you change your perception, you can change your reality. And what you can use to change your perception? Ritual.
That's why, you can basically smoke anything, call it weed, and you'll get stoned.
I mean, sometimes it'll kill you.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah,
be
because
careful.
sometimes being stoned is the feeling you get right before you're dead.
Right.
So Emmeline readily accepted his proposal to come work for him, and within just a few months, Holmes had seduced her. He asked her to marry him in November of 1892, and had most likely already decided to kill her before popping the question, because asking her to marry him was all part of the plan.
It's very interesting because, again, he gets something out of just her living this lie, and you're going to see it played out here. It's something about creating this idea that he's a normal man who's seducing a woman. It's like he laughs to himself that anybody would even believe that he's a normal man.
But it's also something he proves to himself he can do it. If he wanted to be normal, he could live that normal life in a heartbeat.
It's psychopathic behavior, because what he's doing, a lot of psychopaths just out there in the world, low-level psychopaths, really enjoy the ability to seduce a woman, to get them to fall madly in love with them, and then throw them away.
Entry-level psychopaths.
Entry-level psychopaths.
Temp psychopaths.
Temp. Not even getting paid for it, huh?
Yeah. H.H. Holmes, though, when
With his intern.
when he got bored of a woman, he killed her.
Hey, you know what? He's not right. I couldn't take back what I was going to say.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
So Holmes's scheme to get away with this, he gave Emmeline a dozen plain white envelopes and asked her to address them to her closest family and friends. He told her that he would, of course, have formal wedding announcements printed up later, but he just wanted to make sure everyone important in her life would get word that she was getting married to this wonderful man who, by the way, he told her to call her, I think it was Henry or Howard. I think he told her to call her Howard because he had an uncle that was a duke in England, and the only way that H.H. Holmes would inherit the money was if he took the name Howard.
So this is like the original Nigerian email scam?
Dude, yeah.
Absolutely. He's been doing it back in the day. And I remember and part of one of his other stipulations that he said to her, he's like, but I do hope that you're okay with a Mr. Peanut-themed wedding. And she was like, am I? Nothing I like better than a sophisticated peanut.
Peanut's very popular.
Absolutely, especially one with little legs dancing around that doesn't scream when you shell him.
Mm-hmm. They come in their own little suits.
So soon after addressing the envelopes, Holmes decided it's time for Emmeline to go, and her death is particularly horrifying.
Well, I mean, she was crazy dewy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. When you got someone that dewy, you can't just do it normal because she'll slide all over the place like a bar of soap.
Yeah, he kept on asking her to plug in light bulbs and stuff like that, knowing that she'd just go up anytime.
I'm sorry, dear. I just happen to have these wet hands, but they're just not wet enough to zap me.
Dewey.
So while working in Holmes's third-floor office one day in December, Holmes asked his wife to go and retrieve some documents from inside his safe. And as soon as she walked inside, he quietly closed the door of the safe behind her.
A little bit farther? No, not that pile of documents. The farthest one. A little bit farther. A little bit farther. Don't listen to it. No, that creaking noise. Oh, I must have played my Halloween sound effects album earlier. I'm sorry. Just slam.
Well, what he wanted her to think was that it was all an accident. He didn't want immediate fear. He didn't want the slam. He wanted her to slowly realize that she was going to die.
Because he did this also with Julia Smythe, where he said, or Smith, however the fuck you pronounce that British last name. He kind of coddled her and said, oh, we'll be fine. And then he put her out and then killed her. Again, that game to keep playing it about how he's a normal man and everything's normal, even while he's killing her.
Yeah.
This guy, I mean, H.H. Holmes is an impressive psychopath.
Yeah.
It's like, the more you read about him and the more you really research him, he's like fucking Goebbels. He's like one of these guys where he's a mastermind of evil and just can't stop.
General Rommel.
The Desert Fox.
Yes, never charged with a war crime because everyone loved him so much. He was on the cover of Time magazine.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Isn't it weird? I'm thinking Kim Kardashian also go as the Desert Fox for a little bit until she realized it had the same nickname as a famous German Nazi army general,
and
whatever.
then the Nazis requested she change it.
So over the next few hours, Holmes listened through the door of the safe, vigorously masturbating just over and over and over again as Emmeline screamed and screamed until she finally ran out of oxygen and suffocated.
I mean, I'm getting going just sitting here thinking about it. I don't mean to be like this.
Yeah.
You shouldn't.
Oh, God, I got to stop saying it.
Yep. Those are the fetishes that are illegal.
Her skeleton was sold to LaSalle Medical School a few weeks later, and when police finally searched Holmes's castle, they would find a single footprint etched into the steel to the inside of the safe's door. Now, if you're asking how a small young woman could press hard enough on a steel door to leave her footprint, in a desperate attempt to save her life, she tried to push the door open with her foot, but Holmes, always the forward thinker, had covered the floor of the safe in acid to speed along the asphyxiation process, and the acid on her feet was more than enough to make the footprint permanent on the steel door.
So when you say acid, like a part of me does go to like Timothy Leary, be like, she just like tripping nuts, being like, talking about tramps and thieves and stuff. What kind of acid?
Like chemical, sulfur. I don't know if it was
not trippy dippy fun acid.
No. Caustic acid. Yeah. Burning acid.
Again, this is what, you know who H.H. Holmes is? He's the Penguin. That's kind of what it's like. It's like he's got gadgets and things. He's kind of like the Riddler. He's not the Joker because the Joker's more cool, I guess. I don't know. He's a supervillain.
Yeah.
It's kind of awesome in a horrible way.
He's a bit of all of them wrapped into one, huh?
Yeah, he's an absolute supervillain without a superhero to catch him. So Emmeline was actually quite a popular girl. She talked to a lot of people in the castle. She had a lot of friends, a lot of family, which was the reason why Holmes had her address the envelopes. After her disappearance, he took the envelopes that she had addressed herself in her own handwriting, typed up wedding announcements with another man's name in place of his own, and sent the announcements to Emily's family and friends, making them believe that she had run off suddenly with another man.
Damn.
And Emmeline's parents later said that after they hadn't heard from their daughter at all following the announcement, they just assumed that she had died in Europe or something.
Right.
And her new husband either didn't know their address or didn't care enough to inform them. Such were the times in America.
Foresight on H.H. Holmes is incredible.
It's amazing.
Well, he planned it out ahead of time, and now he'd played the game so much. Again, we're going to see later on. It's like what these serial killers say. They plan out their kills for weeks and weeks and weeks, and how they're going to do it and how they're going to get out of it. And eventually, the thought process begins to fall apart because
they
right
go
now
berserker mode.
Yeah, right now he's at the top of his game.
Well, the funny thing about H.H. Holmes is that he never goes into murder berserker mode. He goes into
flim-flam berserker mode.
Yeah, he goes into con berserker mode. He goes into crime berserker mode. As far as murder goes, his record's perfect. Like
like John Elway.
A little bit, yeah.
More like Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman never lost a Super Bowl.
Gay.
So while Holmes in modern times is most famous for being the so-called Devil in the White City, the World's Fair of 1893 would actually come at the end of Holmes' Chicago rampage. Now, as we said in the first episode, the 1893 World's Fair, or the World's Columbian Exposition as it was officially known, was up to that point the largest, most spectacular, and most hyped event that had ever happened in America.
Yeah, it was sort of like Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden.
Oh, I love it when he sings Piano Man, but then he's so old he sings it again.
He'll sing Piano Man up to 7 times in concert.
I've heard that. Great concert. So, and this is where Tesla, introduces his big, invention of light and all that stuff. And true story, this is where the elephant ear was also invented.
The elephant ear?
Yeah, the great carnival snack. You don't know about the elephant ear?
And another day in fat long man history.
No, they funnel in all the it's piping hot dough, and then they put it into the oil.
Sometimes they take your elephant ear and they cover it in chili, and then there's a savory.
Is that all you learned about the 1893 World's Fair?
And I'm not even sure if it's true. I'm just saying they had elephant ears. Very good, great treat.
So between May 1st and October 30th of 1893, over 27 million people attended the World's Fair, many of them out-of-towners, and all of them needed somewhere to stay. Now, in later confessions, Holmes claimed to have only killed one fairgoer during that entire summer, but certain accounts say that as many as 50 people who stayed at Holmes's castle during the World's Fair never came back from Chicago.
But again, we're going to cover. But again, we already covered the fact that people just leave and just don't come back.
Yeah, it was like 9/11 all the time.
The time.
You could just leave and just say like, I don't know, he just didn't come back. I guess he's dead.
Freedom. That's back when freedom was free.
Right.
And to further suspicion that he killed more than he claimed, Holmes always had room for a female guest during the World's Fair, but if any men came looking for a room, they were almost always told that there were no rooms available.
So even after he was caught, he never admitted to murdering the amount of people that he actually did. It's very different than somebody like the Texas fella that
Henry Lee Lucas.
Yeah, who was just like, I killed 18,000 people.
But
by the end of it, they usually exaggerate, don't they?
It ranged all over the place.
So concerning those female guests, those who stayed at the castle long term or those who worked for Holmes noticed that he was particularly forgiving of young women who left suddenly without paying their bills, which happened a lot.
Yeah.
And while Holmes certainly had a hell of a lot of reasons for killing the women who worked for him, it is possible that soon before their deaths, these women, they just started wondering out loud, hey, why isn't boss really all that bothered by all these unpaid bills?
And also with combined with the constant stench of chemicals surrounding Holmes must have led. At some point, some questions have to pop up.
Uncomfortable questions.
He's got greased chutes.
Yeah.
If your house has greased chutes in it, you're not. Unless you're getting apples from the attic to the basement real quick and you're just like, you know how rats love apples. And even that statement is ridiculous.
Yeah. Bunch of questions you would have to ask regarding, does he have Alzheimer's? Is there some sort of elderly disease happening?
Yeah, what's happening? And that there's just so many women just absolutely disappeared. Like we said in the last episode, they would just be like a whole room of clothes just left behind. And they would leave without paying their bills. And you know, people were going to ask questions, and the people who asked questions also ended up dead. So by the time the fair had come to town, Holmes had already decided that it was time to leave Chicago. His debts were mounting, and it was getting harder and harder to talk his way out of them. And in fact, some of his debtors were starting to consolidate.
Well, because he started realizing this guy's not paying anybody.
Yeah.
He started checking in with each other and like being like, did this guy pay you yet? And they're like, no. And because he hadn't paid for a thing.
He should have just filed for bankruptcy like a good old Donald Trump. They would have voted him for president.
He did pay for chloroform.
Oh, that's nice. That's right. He paid for everything that he really wanted.
Absolutely. It was like I was saying before, my problems with my debt consolidation is that when I talked to credit card people, and I was like, they were like, you need to pay this money. And I was like, why?
Yeah, why?
And they were like, you need to pay this money. I was like, well, what do you do if I don't pay the money? They're like, you need to pay this money. And guess what I did? I didn't pay any of that money.
No, don't bother. You know what I do? I just go and I give them all the empty beer cans that I spent the money on, and I say, that's good as cash. There you
It's
go.
good as cash.
Good as cash.
But Holmes, before he would leave Chicago, he had one last long con to finish off. That long con would end in double murder. The last woman close to Holmes to meet her fate in the murder castle would be a sweet, naive young girl named Minnie Williams. Now, Minnie wasn't quite as beautiful as Holmes's other victims.
Really? She's the best name.
Minnie Williams? Yeah, it's a cute. No, she was short, kind of doughy, real dumb. Yeah, real dumb. That's the quote in like multiple sources. Every time, the only quote anyone has to say about Minnie Williams, they just said, you know, she didn't seem to know a great deal. That's all anyone had to say about Minnie.
But the one thing that she did have was a fucking heiress. She was an heiress who had a massive Texas fortune.
$3.5 million in today's money she was worth.
And if she's doughy, she probably tried those elephant ears.
But for Holmes, of course, the money was a big deal, but he knew that more than likely he wouldn't be able to get the money. But the one thing he could get from her was a very valuable plot of land in downtown Fort Worth, Texas. And had Holmes pulled off this particular plot to fruition, had he not started to go into flim-flam psycho mode later on, it is almost certain that this is where he would have built his second murder castle.
I mean, I feel like nowadays, again, we would look up to somebody like H.H. Holmes.
Yeah.
You see flip that house all the time. It's like he's a realtor psycho killer. That's insane.
He's franchising out. I would love to watch him train in a new general manager in the Texas Fort Worth branch. So this is where I put the grease on the slides
the grease
here.
shoot.
The grease shoot. Oh my god.
Well, I gotta tell you, that's just good thinking because you don't know when a fat boy is gonna need to go from the attic to the basement.
Man, Mr. Holmes, you're just wonderful.
The only thing standing in the way of Holmes in the land was Minnie's sister, Nanny, who had a great deal more sense than her younger sister.
My name is Minnie, and this is Nanny.
Like,
I'm Nanny. I'm Minnie. Hi, you're Henry. I'm Nanny. I'm Minnie.
yeah, it sounds.
Fuck both of you.
My goodness.
I'm worth $1 million. So am I. My name's Nanny.
It is, truly obnoxious.
So to take care of this little problem, Holmes invited Nanny to the World's Fair and took the two sisters every single night for a week straight, and then on July 4th, 1893, Holmes suffocated both of them in his bank vault, one at a time, without either one knowing what happened to the other.
Hi, I'm Nanny. Where's Minnie? I'm in here, Nanny. It's me, Minnie. Oh, I'm coming in there, Minnie, right after you, because my name's Nanny. Oh, that's great to hear, Nanny. I'm Minnie.
You know,
hours.
They didn't know a whole bunch, but they knew each other's names, I guess.
Days after,
I will say H.H. Holmes at some point during this week, he just had to be like, God damn it. Will you shut up?
Shut up, Nanny. Shut up, Minnie.
Oh, God damn it.
Tension headaches of him just being like, is there something wrong, Henry? I'm Nanny. No, there's nothing wrong, Nanny. I've just got a bit of a tension headache. I think my top hat's on a bit too tight. I'm Minnie. You love me. And this is my sister, Nanny. Ooh, when is the fair over? You know, sometimes I'm just curious about what are the hours of the fair. I'm going to go check it out.
This is where he is really the victim. This was a tough week for H.H.
oh, Jesus fucking Christ. So days later, Holmes dropped by Benjamin Peitzel's house to present his wife with a bounty of presents, dresses, shoes, hats, all the clothes that Holmes claimed were left to him by his cousin, who had suddenly got married and left the country.
But you can imagine, like, Peitzel giving the gifts to his wife, where he's just like,
Yeah.
here's your fucking dress, here's your fucking some shoes, this fucking, I was gonna get these some more of these hats, but I put some booze in it and I ruined the fabric. I drank the booze out of it. I ran out of the cups. You bitch. I worked my whole life. Here's a
Right.
garter belt.
Did I mention my blood's full of gold? Which is pretty cool. I mean, this is, it is dead people's clothes, but it's no different than what hipsters do here in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, when they go shopping at, at these thrift stores and whatnot. It's all corpses' clothes.
Oh, I own many dead men's clothes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. People die in the clothes, and the EMTs go and snip it off of them because EMTs are nothing but premature grave robbers.
That's right.
That's not true. They're brave.
They are needed, and they just failed a terrorist test here in the city, so we're not doing good with
What,
that.
by like being like, which is the bomb and which is a baby in a carriage?
Their radios don't work underground.
Jesus.
So that's kind of a problem. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We move on.
So the deed to the land in Fort Worth, Holmes kept to himself. And with this, Holmes's time in Chicago was almost at an end, but he would not leave town without one more Midwest romantic conquest. His last wife was named Georgina Yoke, and much like Murda Z. Belknap, it's a matter of debate as to whether Holmes actually felt something like love towards Georgina or if he just never got around to killing her. At any rate, Georgina would be one of the few women to survive a close relationship with H.H. Holmes.
What we're going to see later is I believe that Georgina just helped H.H. Holmes with his story. And in the end, in order to be a respectable businessman in this time and day, you had to be married.
Yeah,
and I
right.
think that knowing that you have a wife in tow wherever you go and you can reference your wife and you have one and you can cut to like what seems to be a normal family
Totally.
life is a great... It's a great way to make someone feel at ease with you.
Dennis Rader, obviously the Green River. It's like these people had totally theoretically stable families.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we mentioned in the first episode, Holmes had been toying with the idea of a life insurance switcheroo scam since medical school. And while Holmes claimed to have pulled it off before, we know for sure that he tried the scam in 1893, and who better to do it with than his trusted associate, Benjamin Pitezel.
So we're going to tell them, let's see, okay, we're going to fake my death and we'll tell them that, but what I was a famous horse trainer and I died trying to save a family from a fire.
You're a drunken idiot, but you might be onto something with that horse trainer line.
Yeah, I always wanted to be a horse trainer, but the problem is they're always looking at my booze. Don't you look at my booze, horse. I'll turn the damn lower half into glue, and I'll take the glue and I'll turn it into a thing. I'll paste.
And now you derailed, and once again you derailed.
Yeah, you tell me how am I to die?
So first, here's the scam in its entirety. First, Holmes would take out a large insurance policy on Pitezel, and after a few months, the two would acquire a cadaver and stage a death that would so badly disfigure the corpse that identification would be impossible. And after Holmes took care of the necessary bureaucratic rigmarole, the two would then split the payout of $10,000, which was over $250,000 in 2015 money. But that scheme would take a little bit of time to percolate, for they had doings to take care of down in Texas.
And the worst part is that H.H. Holmes put Pitezel in charge of paying his own health insurance premiums.
Oh, bad idea.
And
Yeah,
so
brilliant.
he would send money to Pitezel to pay the premiums, but then Pitezel would just spend the money on booze.
Right.
And so H.H. Holmes then had to keep up Pitezel's half of the scam all the time. So Pitezel, while H.H. Holmes is running all these other games, he has to go and make sure that Pitezel's paying his premiums. And we're going to find out is that right before the premium, it's like literally the whole insurance claim was about to be canceled, and H.H. Holmes had to swoop in and pay it, and literally the payment made it minutes beforehand, before it was like technically due. And that was one of the clues that they had ended up stringing together that the whole thing was a scam.
Obviously, you should not kill anybody. But isn't there something inside of you where
Nice
you're just
caveat,
like,
Ben.
Good, thank you.
But
Thank you, Ben.
what a time to be alive in a way. I mean, nowadays, you try to pull off a scam like that, there's a Detective Columbo coming to ask you a bunch of very interesting questions.
Yeah, these hard shoes and these long arms are coming out and good sniffing around my good time, Charlies.
Back in the day, all you'd have to do is cut off their ears, and then the detective would be like, well, nope, this person had ears. They do not have ears. That is not this person, so we're totally confused.
So after taking out the policy, Pitezel, Georgina, and H.H. set out for Texas to build a new life in downtown Fort Worth with a land that Holmes had scammed from many. So safely away from his creditors in Chicago, Holmes started all over again with Fort Worth, using the exact same methods he had used to build his murder castle the first time. But like with most people of Holmes's temperament, the need for more excitement got him into trouble. Inexplicably, Holmes and Pitezel tried their hands at horse thievery, which is a hanging offense in Texas.
It's just, of all of the scams,
Right.
stealing a horse, number one, is dangerous because horses are big.
Right.
And I don't even like voluntarily riding a horse. Never like taking one against your will.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And they don't know anything about goddamn horses.
And a horse killed John Candy. Well, he had to ride a horse and he was obese.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Heart disease killed John Candy.
Well, but he died on a horse.
I'd say maybe horse steak killed John
yeah,
Candy.
could be. Well, I'm just saying.
So the two, of course, identified almost immediately as the culprits. They left Fort Worth in the middle of the night, never to return. They would resurface 6 months later in St. Louis.
It's a nice place, St. Louis. Oh, come on.
That's where Holmes would be arrested for the very first time, by the way, after trying out a pharmacy fraud. That old trick where he would buy things on credit. He would buy things on credit under an assumed name, sell all of the products, and then when the creditors came, would say like, no, that's not me. I did not buy these things. This was Mr. Bilkey that bought all of those things. They saw right through it, and he landed in prison, and while in prison awaiting bail, Holmes would make the mistake that would eventually get him caught for good.
How old is he now at this point?
Oh, 32, 33, he's our age.
So he has just been, but the life expectancy back then wasn't as high as it is now.
Yeah, it was like 34.
So he's just like an elderly man, be like, never been caught yet. Why wouldn't he stop?
Yeah, I mean, because that's the thing. He hasn't
Or
even.
why would he?
I mean, he hasn't necessarily been close to getting caught this entire time. Yeah, he's had creditors come at him, but he hasn't really had the law come at him yet.
Right.
Because he's been able to talk his way out of it, and he's also this whole time. There's all of these investigators that have been coming to his murder castle, and he's been turning them away with the pat and a handshake.
Well, now
and so his
everything-
confidence is through the roof.
Right.
But nowadays, nobody trusts. Back in the day, they trusted you. They don't believe. No one believed that you were a liar or a psychopath.
Yeah.
They thought that it was like, oh, he'll get around to it, because this was
Right.
like old timey America when things were still pure. But that little we all know, there was a whole bunch of rape going on.
Yeah. And again, are people still obsessed in the States about what's happening in the UK and London with Jack the Ripper?
Oh no, that's long gone.
That's
No,
long
it
gone.
pacified us. When we saw the Jack the Ripper stuff, that the whole thing was that the way the newspaper sold it was like, we'd never have anything like that
Right.
over here in the Congressional United States of America.
Right.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we killed how many millions of Indians with blankets?
Well, and at this time, this is when the Indian Wars were raging on. So we were really getting to the Indian killing at this point out in the Old West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone was killing each other.
When was Wounded Knee?
I like the tone that you said that.
Yeah.
When was the casino give out?
Well, what happened in
Wounded Knee was only 4 years before this.
No shit.
In Wounded Knee, they armed the prisoners. And then the prisoners got the Native Americans. They
Holy
gave them
shit.
weapons to fight other Native American tribes and to protect them against wildlife. And then the prisoners, the Native Americans, obviously used the guns against them.
This is how we treated the inventors of jerky.
It's not, oh my God! Did Native Americans invented jerky?
I'll say it.
I'm 126 Cherokee.
What's that, your pinky?
By the way, you're thinking of Little Bighorn. Wounded Knee is when we just shot all the women and children.
Yeah, whatever. Little Bighorn. I like that one better anyway.
Jesus, man.
What? That's a better name. What is wrong with you people?
What about octopus dog hat? What about that brave battle of the Cherokee versus the congressional armies of the Alabamians?
I am very pro Native American.
Inventors of jerky, struck down by Italians.
I'm 1/12 Native American.
So we're actually kind of in the Wild West. Speaking of, at this point, for Holmes' cellmate was a man that Harold Schechter referred to as, quote,
an authentic desperado. The someone so audacious with his bodillery that one would assume that he was born to be an outlaw.
Thank you, Harold Schechter.
You're the best, Harold.
So this man that was in the cell with H.H. Holmes, his name was Marion Hedgepeth, a.k.a. the Handsome Bandit.
And he actually was very handsome. And he was handsome. Not like they say H.H. Holmes was handsome.
Yeah.
This guy actually was handsome. And this is very interesting. This is also a trait of psychopaths. He was bragging about his crimes and his abilities because literally he wanted the validation from another famous criminal.
Yeah, he was struck by the celebrity because what he wanted was there was this bad man, and he was famous because this was a time in America where the Wild West criminal was a celebrity.
Yeah, nothing's changed, has it?
No, not actually, not really. It actually hasn't.
Caitlyn Jenner's Woman of the Year, and she fucking killed a bunch of people.
Just one.
And of course, H.H. wanted to impress the outlaw who rode with such desperate men as James, Illinois Jimmy Francis, and Lucius Dink Wilson.
Oh, man. Illinois is just a bad nickname. That's just where the dude's from.
Illinois Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean... But
Actually, I think it was just his favorite state.
yeah, it could be.
Dink was just because he couldn't tie his shoes and he had a fucking pot of soup for a hat.
Like, not like better than going inside the train.
Nice hat, though.
So at any rate, Holmes needed one last person to pull off his insurance scam, a crooked lawyer to broker the whole thing, and Holmes figured if any man knew a crooked lawyer, it would be the handsome bandit. So Holmes offered Hedgepeth $500 for his help in the scheme and was put in touch with a man named Jephthah D. Howe. And as soon as Holmes was sprung from St. Louis, Holmes grabbed Peitzel and headed to Philly. Now, Peitzel, who had moved his whole family, including his wife and their 5 children, to St. Louis for the duration of the insurance scheme, left town on July 29th, 1894, after letting Carey in on the scheme. Peitzel never saw his wife or their children ever again.
And it's actually a very sad story because they were talking about how he came home drunk. I'm sure they just solidified the plans because now the plan is that he was going to go and pretend to be a patent maker, like a patent clerk in this area town. He was going to set up shop and then he was going to be blown up in a fake explosion because he was an inventor. He came home drunk one night before leaving town, and it's the only time that, because he told his oldest daughter who came in, and he was there like lolling in the kitchen, totally hammered, and turned to her, and it was like, if you see the stories of my death in the newspaper, it's a lie. It's a lie. And it's like, it's very sad. Because it's true, because then they all had to play along in order for the quote-unquote insurance scam to work.
Right. But Alice, actually, when she heard about it, she did still, like, she had her suspicions that her father was still alive. She later on thought, like, oh, now I remember that it was a lie. But when she first heard it, she did believe that her father was actually dead.
Drunks are always saying random things.
Yeah, and that's what it was, is that the drunk, like, she's like, yeah, Dad used to come home drunk and say stupid bullshit all the time. So 2 months later, after Peitzel left St. Louis, his burned and decaying body would be found on the floor of the rented patent clerk's office in Philadelphia, discovered by a neighbor who had been talking to him about patenting some sort of new saw that he had invented.
It was some kind of saw thing. It was a flim-flam machine.
Yeah, it was another flim-flam machine.
Yeah, and again, Peitzel had become immediately known in that small little area where he had set up shop as a drunk. He just showed up, and his whole thing was like, I'm staying sober, I'm staying with it, I'm staying straight, and on the racer's edge, because I am a part of a very complicated insurance scam. Is that bourbon?
Is that what does that taste like?
And so this was all part of the plan. Holmes, who had never intended to split the proceeds with Peitzel, had killed the man with chloroform and had staged his body to look like Peitzel died in an explosion when he lit his pipe too close to a vat of chemicals.
Which is a ludicrous idea to begin with. It is ludicrously elaborate. There's many different ways you can kill somebody and dismember the face.
1893, a known drunk. It seems like something he might do.
No, you just topple over. He had 3 possessions. You topple over the desk, you make the chair slightly askew, and you beat his face in, and then it looks like a robbery.
I'm actually going to say H.H. had a better idea, Henry.
I don't think so.
He's a drunkard. I need my smoke. He lights his smoke, and the whole thing goes up.
That makes no sense.
It could happen.
Well, it was this was kind of at the beginning of forensic police work, because one of the police on the scene, he actually said, like, he looked at it, was like, wait a minute, when a body is faced with an explosion, the limbs get very mussed up.
Everything. That's what he said. His whole body was totally fine except his face was burnt.
Yeah,
and then
superficial burn.
And he reeked of chloroform.
Well, so he should have burnt him up a little bit more.
Yeah, set fire to the house.
Oh.
Yeah. So Holmes arrived at the Peitzel house in St. Louis the same day that Benjamin's wife and children read the announcement for his death. And Carey was told, listen, let the kids think that their father is dead. It'll be a lot easier if they think he's dead, and then when he's not dead, I'll be a little surprised.
Yeah, that won't be terrifying. That won't scare the hell out of them.
It won't warp their brains and their idea of trust for the rest of the time. No. But also, what's true with this whole thing is that his wife had begged him. It's like Peitzel did the classic. I mean, like, this is the last scam, baby. We're getting this thing and then we're getting out. Don't you even think about it. Is there alcohol in your perfume?
It was a huge payout. It was $125,000.
Huge, yeah.
Like, so it was worth the risk, but Carey didn't didn't know Holmes all that well. All she knew was that Holmes showed up every once in a while with a bunch of dead women's clothing.
But then gave presents to the kids, and at the time, that's how you were a good father. Most good fathers you didn't see for 3 months at a time.
Right.
And he'd come home and be like, hello, children, and give a rough, like, weird cigar-scented fucking kisses to them, and then give weird sweet candies and leave.
Yeah, sweet candies were probably just fruit, like a plum or something. That's pathetic.
Well, what Holmes needed from the Peitzel family was a family member to identify the corpse for the insurance company. And it would be much easier for everyone if the person doing the identification believed that Benjamin was dead. So all Holmes needed was to borrow their eldest daughter, Alice, for just a few days to make the identification. I'm just going to take her up to Philadelphia. We're going to identify this corpse that's not your husband, by the way. Your husband's totally fine. He's totally alive. We just need her to go up, identify this corpse, and then I'll bring her right back.
The shady lawyer, and these 3 empty trunks. And I'm not bringing anything else with me. We're going to get on this train. We're going to over here where I definitely did not kill your drunk, good-for-nothing, goon-like husband.
I just see her in the back of whatever automobile they're traveling in, like Tobey Maguire in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas when he hops in the car and he's just scared shitless.
But the truth is, too, is that, like, how did Benjamin Peitzel's wife have any faith in the idea that her husband would have been good at this scam?
Blind love.
It's just unbelievable. Like, women believed in men too much back in the day. Because Peitzel couldn't keep his shit together. He was so hammered all the time, so fucked up. He's not going to be the central cog to a highly elaborate insurance scam. And, like, with a guy who just, like, who's had 7 wives since you've known him. He had a murder hotel.
But he was perfect for HH, though.
He had greased shoots.
No one knew about the grease shoots.
Oh, I feel like you know about him. You got grease shoots and lime pits in the house. There's only so much you can escape. Like, you can't say, oh, it's because I love this. Yeah, I love the scent of citrus.
Yeah, why not?
So as to why, I mean, you might ask, why did they take a 15-year-old girl to identify this horribly mangled corpse instead of the man's wife? Well,
propriety.
Well, Holmes, he didn't trust Carrie to lie convincingly because she wasn't really into the whole scam in the first place. And besides, he's like, listen, you have 3 other children. You have your sick infant, your Wharton, to take care of. But there was also a more nefarious reason. If Holmes wasn't going to pay out to Benjamin, he sure as hell wasn't going to pay out to Benjamin's family either. And what begins here is a long, drawn-out, and particularly cruel process in which Holmes would attempt to kill each and every member of the Peitzel family one by one, and he would come very close to pulling it off.
It's like very Metal Gear Solid, the way he did this. It's very interesting because he would just kind of... Because we're going to see now is that she tails after him and the rest of her kids. Basically, he takes on the kids, and they go on this sort of like cat and mouse, like fucking this weird hostage situation, and then he fucking like snipes them, or he does the garrote to each one. Like, what's the move? What's the thing in Metal Gear Solid when you hold the dude and then you get a balloon?
What it's called. But I know if
I haven't played Metal Gear Solid 5 yet.
I'm sorry, I hung out with fucking Holden the other day, and he was like, "Look at my video games."
never do that. But if they would have seen him, then an exclamation mark would have gone over his head. Whoop. You're screwed.
So after the particularly gruesome task of identifying Peitzel's body was completed by Alice, which, by the way, we'll cover in full on a bonus episode, The Autopsy of Benjamin Peitzel.
It's very interesting.
It's very interesting. But yeah, that'll be one of our bonus episodes once we launch our Patreon. Holmes returned to St. Louis and told Carrie that, well, listen, there's nothing to worry about. Everything's going just fine. There are insurance investigators on our trail. So we're going to have to take some extra precautions. I left Alice back in Philadelphia, but what I'm going to need to do is take 2 more of your kids because the insurance investigators, they're going to be looking for a woman with 5 kids.
Yeah, so just think
Makes all
about
the
it.
sense in the world. Yeah.
Just fucking think about it.
If you think about it for 5 seconds, think about it for 5 seconds.
This woman must have been a drunk,
Listen
too.
about this. Listen about it. Think about it, but you know what I'm going to say after I say think about it? Don't think about it.
Don't think about
Don't
it.
think about it, but think about it. Don't
Yeah.
think about it.
What?
Yeah.
Think about it. I got your kids. Don't think about it.
Yeah, I'm nanny.
So what happened? But you got to also remember is that H.H. Holmes was the pinnacle of man in his day. Of course, like she looks at him, it's like, well, of course, well, you know, he had all these successful businesses. He ran the castle for such a long time,
And he's got a wife that he's checking in all the time with while he's killing all these kids. How does he get to go to sleep? That's what I want
guy.
to say. That's what he's burning candles both ends. You know
That's
what he
right.
needs is a spa treatment.
He'd be crushing Twitter.
Oh, he would have been so good at
Always
social
on
media.
Twitter. Yeah, so good. Sochmade, yep.
So over the next few months, as Henry said, Holmes would take 3 of Carrie's children, Howard, Nellie, and Alice, from town to town, registering in hotels under false names, sometimes claiming the kids as his own, sometimes saying he was their uncle, but always changing the story to breed confusion every time. So what he was doing was he was just moving around. So if once he did, in fact, kill the children, the trail would be impossible to follow.
I actually do feel bad for good uncles. Because, like, you can't do anything with your nephews or
Nah.
nieces. If
Well,
you
I'm gonna-
check in and you're like, I am their uncle, everyone's just like, follow us. Come with us, please.
Because there are only 4 good uncles.
Right.
I'm one of them.
Oh, yeah, I'm an uncle too. Yeah.
Woo!
I haven't molested nothing.
Nope.
Good to know.
I helped my nephew with his English, with his research paper the other night.
I bought my niece the entire series of Goosebumps.
Oh, that's very good.
She read one and said they were frightening her, and then they did not tell me, but they gave them all away.
So you are the creepy uncle, unbeknownst to you.
Yeah, and Holmes, as he was moving these kids around, changing his story in a very BTK move, when he was asked his profession while registering at one hotel, he said,
well, I suppose, I am an actor.
Ooh. Love actors.
Professional uncle.
Perfect.
That's what I'll say.
So as Holmes was moving around the kids, he was also moving around Carrie Peitzel, constantly stringing her along, saying, all right, so your husband, so we're going to have to go to Toronto next because that's where your husband is. He's waiting for us there in Toronto. And then once they get to Toronto, he'd say, well, actually, he had to go to Detroit on business for me.
Meanwhile, he's got a wife that he's decided to keep alive.
Yeah.
That he's handling with her because he's still saying that he's working for the ABC copier program or company, whatever it is.
Ancestor of the mimeograph.
But it just seems like ABC copier, again, just seemed like a dude inside of a box that you would just put it in there and he would draw it up inside the box and go like, stick it out. A little white slave. And then he would say, he kept saying he would make it up. He's like, oh, we're going over here for business. And then we're going to this next place because it's nicer here.
Yeah, we're going to Niagara Falls. I didn't give you a proper honeymoon, so now we're going to go to Niagara Falls.
There is no way that he did not have the thought at some point of just being like, I should have just started like a Marriott. Like, I should have just promised continental breakfast and just ran a damn hotel. This is so much work
and he's
for a big payoff, but not that big of a
he
payoff.
He is loving it.
You think he's enjoying
Oh
this?
my God, he is loving it so much because he has these 3 people that he's manipulating and
Screaming in the back seat all the time.
In certain cities, he would keep all 3 groups of people blocks away from each other.
You see, I actually think it's not so much pleasure. There is a pleasure over when it all works out.
Right.
But I think what he does is he pushes himself to the extreme of stress and then makes these decisions and then does the next thing. And that's what, it's not a love, it's an addiction to the release after stress, up to my top. Am I just about to be caught? Is everything about to fall apart? Boom, I made it. I'm a fucking genius. And that's where the pleasure is. It's
go.
not the manipulating.
Yeah, I think this sucks for him.
It's the
this
game,
is work.
but he's doing the game on purpose because then it feels like you're doing something. Like it's what what BTK would do, in that comparison, what he would do when he would build the anticipation of killing somebody, where he would go and he would track them until it was just about to burst. And it's very interesting. It's just someone who literally is constantly bored.
There is a misconception that criminals don't work their asses off.
Yeah.
This
It's
is
hard to be this is a full commitment.
Yeah. And it's also he's also one of those like rare killers. We talk about process killers and product killers. He's both. Because the process was when he was in the hotel, and he's killing these women because it's making him hard. The product part of the killing, that's what this is. He's not planning to kill the children for pleasure. He didn't kill Benjamin Peitzel for pleasure. He's killing for money.
It's all money.
Yeah, it's all money. Like, this is he's just mixing business and pleasure on this. He just finally figured out, it's like, oh, okay, I do the scams and I do killing on the side. I can actually combine these two things.
Yeah, it's like, pizza on a bagel.
Yeah. You enjoyed eating pizza on a bagel, and then you sold them. And then you started a little business.
That's what he should have done, is getting onto the pizza and a bagel business.
Yeah.
Instead of all the killing.
Well, we should debate Totino's Pizza Rolls versus pizza on a bagel one of these days.
Yeah, well, I think we should.
We will do that.
For like
That's
3
a bonus,
or 4 hours.
A bonus episode.
So the children, they spent their days alone, locked in hotel rooms. They would constantly be writing letters to their mother, but Holmes kept every single one of them and the letters are just so sad because
it's all been like, Mommy, you never write.
Yeah.
Why don't you write? Because I've been writing to you. H.H. Holmes keeps gripping on me, but he bought me fancy umbrella. How I wish you could see my umbrella, but you don't write. See you in Toronto.
Yeah, and it started off as an adventure for the kids. Like, oh, we're traveling from place to place. We're seeing so many different locations. This is so exciting. And then it starts getting cold, and they only have like these tiny thin jackets, and Holmes, he just sees buying them jackets, buying them clothing. He sees that as wasted money. He's like, why would I ever do that?
Yeah, why would I dress these dead kids?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, why? Because that's what people who later on gave witness to, is they said that there was this, and that's one thing that part of the scam that he never thought of, is that he always stood out because he was this immaculately dressed, very nice looking man with these 3 waifs, these horrible looking children that are dirty. They're in torn up, ripped clothing. They're always cold.
But he also did the same thing to the house, too. The murder castle turned into this drab, like, fallen down thing because he became bored with it. Now, like we're going to see, the first child to die was the youngest kid because he was being a pain in the ass.
Yeah, he was starting to scream and yell and draw even more attention to him. So he told the 2 little girls, he's like, listen, I'm going to take your brother to live with my cousin Minnie.
Minnie!
Uh-oh.
I'm Minnie! I'll take the kids! I'm Minnie!
Yikes.
I'm your cousin Minnie!
Oh, my goodness.
It rhymes with Winnie! It's M-I-N-N-I! It's Minnie!
Rather stay with H.H. Holmes, I think.
In reality, though, Holmes took the boy to a secluded, rented house, killed him, chopped up his body using surgical instruments that he had sharpened specifically for this event.
Oh, these are just sharpened.
Yeah.
Wow, nice.
And burned the body in the stove, and all that was found of little Howard were teeth, bone fragments, and pieces of his clothing. Nellie and Alice would be killed soon after in Toronto. Holmes somehow convinced the girls to enter a trunk outfitted with a hole just big enough for him to run a hose into, and like so many others, the Peitzel girls died by gas.
Get in the trunk. No, it's a fun game in the trunk. Listen, no, listen. You're gonna get in the trunk, and I'm gonna get in the trunk. You're thinking about it? Don't think about it. Think about it. Don't think about it. Just get in the trunk. Just think about the trunk, all right? And now by gas, does that mean he farted inside of the hole?
Yes, he was slamming beans down his gullet. It took a little bit of time, but sure enough, he asphyxiated them.
I think let's let it hang.
Asphyxiated. Boom! I'm on fire.
So Holmes then took the bodies to another rented house, borrowed a shovel from a neighbor, telling him he needed to bury some potatoes in the cellar.
What is happening?
Can I get your shovel? I gotta.
What do you need? For what? For what?
I gotta bury shovels. Bury Some.
So I love the shovel. One of my favorite shovels. I don't just give it away
to
willy-nilly.
Bury some carrots? No.
No,
I already buried my carrots last week. Some potatoes. I got to bury them down in the cellar for cellar potatoes. You're thinking about it. Don't even think about it.
Here you go. Have the shovel.
But it was not potatoes that H.H. Holmes was burying.
What was it?
Little girls.
Oh, different.
They don't grow. The
No, they don't. That's not how life works. No. Believe it or not, you don't bury a child and it turns into a tree full of life.
That also sounds like the latest Cure album, Buried Little Girls Don't Grow.
Oh, it's sad.
So the investigator who found the bodies after an extensive 6-month search, his name was Frank Geyer. He said when he first put the shovel into the ground, quote,
"Only a slight hole had been made when the gases burst forth. The stench was frightful."
So while the bodies were so badly decomposed that Alice's hair slid from her scalp as they picked her up, the youngest was the only one with actual physical harm. Her feet had been amputated to prevent identification upon discovery, for Nellie had a club foot. We don't know what Holmes did with the feet, though.
Oh, you know.
Yeah.
So, you ever see that Charlie Chaplin bit where he's got the biscuits on the forks and he dances with it? Yeah. Benny and June.
Benny and June, yeah.
Probably something like that.
Made him dance a little bit, huh? A little tap routine.
Yeah. Or just every time somebody asks, he was like, "They're baby feet." Don't think about it. You're thinking about it.
Do you think about it?
Don't think about it.
But, okay, so Holmes, he's killing Benjamin Pitezel. He's killing kids. He's planning to kill more. He's killed dozens of women back in Chicago. He would not be arrested for any of these things. He would be arrested for insurance fraud, and had it not been for one man, Holmes would have likely pulled off the Benjamin Pitezel insurance scam and killed the entire Pitezel family. You know who Holmes forgot about?
Who?
The handsome bandit.
Bandito guapo. No, it's very interesting because that's what the Marion had when it happened. When H.H. Holmes told him his secret, he's just like, "Oh, this is fucking great," and he got all the information that he wanted from Holmes about his whole insurance scam. And he's just like, "As soon as my sentence comes, I'm gonna flip this fucking idiot who told me his whole plans, because this guy's not a real desperado." No. I bet he looked at H.H. Holmes and was like, "This guy's a fucking psychopath," but he does not know how to be a desperado.
He's a dandy.
He's a handsome bandit. Yes.
No, well, Marion is that he's the real life Batman of the old West.
Really like a bad man, but with the weird, so not honor amongst thieves, but he was a train robber, did some intense shit, was a hardcore guy,
Jesse James type of guy,
like Black Bart from A Christmas Story.
Exactly like Black Bart from A Christmas Story,
but with more rape.
Whoa,
a lot more. So Marion never got that $500 and was far more interested in cutting a deal with the judge in exchange for a pardon, which he got, by the way. And a little thing about Marion Hedgepeth, died in a shootout at a gas station in 1909.
I didn't even know they had gas stations in 1909. That's kind of fun.
Yeah, they were dangerous.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So as soon as Hedgepeth saw the announcement for Pitezel's death, he put 2 and 2 together. It's like, oh, okay, that's the score that Holmes guy was telling me about. Hedgepeth calls over a guard, tells the guard the whole story. The guard tells the judge. The judge calls Philadelphia. And so Holmes gets arrested in Boston for insurance fraud on November 17th, 1894 by the octopus-like system of the Pinkerton Detective Agency.
So just no one was good in this time.
No.
Just everyone's a criminal.
Well, to be honest, it's everybody was a criminal, but everybody was kind of fine with it.
Yeah.
Everyone was cool. I mean, there were actually good men. We mentioned
Pinkerton or the Pinkerton Detective Agency was a hardcore group of guys.
Yeah. They actually just had something in the news recently. There was a $500,000 car or something stolen, and the Pinkerton Club or Detective Agency is on it.
They're still around?
They're still around. I just read about them a week ago. Swear to God.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Pinkertons, well, they were also a pretty shady group of characters. People would also hire the Pinkertons as kind of a personal goon squad. But the Pinkertons, that's where we get the term private eye from, because that's what the Pinkertons called themselves, the all-seeing eye.
They're still on the case.
But they're good. But they were good at their jobs.
They were extremely good. And the other guy that bears mention that we'll probably talk about in our upcoming Super Cop episode, Frank Geyer. Frank Geyer spent 6 months on the trail of H.H. Holmes, and he was the one that figured out, despite all of the deception, despite all of the name changes, he was the one that tracked down the children.
It's very interesting because he really did. They had been following him for a while.
Yeah.
But H.H. Holmes was not doing a good job. All of the different stories made him incredibly suspicious constantly.
Yeah. Detective work was just so much different. I mean, now you take it to a lab, you get like DNA evidence 3 weeks later, you can put things together so much easier.
It was all
detective work.
eyewitness. It was all interviews. That's the only way that he was able to actually find those kids.
Cool.
And so H.H., he's in prison. Carrie Peitzel finds him finally and says, okay, so you're in prison. Where are the kids? Holmes said, okay, here's the deal. Yes, I did commit insurance fraud. That was a corpse that was placed there by me up in Philadelphia, but it was a cadaver. Benjamin's still alive and well, and he is now with the kids, and they're either in South America or Florida.
Officer, I got to say this. It looks like you're thinking about it.
Right.
But what I need you to do is to go ahead and take that thinking about it and give it a bit of a reversal of that. All right? Don't think about it.
Don't think about it.
Don't
they're
think
just
about it,
beating them
think
with
about
sticks.
it.
Yeah.
But when the children's bodies were finally found, Holmes claimed that Minnie, along with the mysterious accomplice named Hatch,
Hatch. I'm Hatch, and this is my friend Minnie. I'm Minnie. I'm Hatch, and I help her kill babies. I'm Minnie, and I killed a baby with my friend Hatch.
God, man, that is the most annoying character that's ever come out of you.
You don't like it?
I love it.
So so that's what Holmes said. He said that Minnie, along with Hatch, had killed the children while they were in her care. But now, with an obviously grisly triple child murder, at the very least attached to Holmes, investigators finally decided to take a look at the castle that Holmes had run for years over in Englewood. The evidence inside was more than enough to seal Holmes's fate. They found the acid vats. They found the surgical tables. They talked to the groundskeeper, this guy named Quinlan, and he was like, they were like, how did you not know? He's like, well, I was never allowed to clean the second floor.
I mean, at some point, the detectives just had to look at each other and be like, we should have done this like 7 years ago, huh?
You know what? You thinking about it? You're thinking
I
about
am
it.
thinking
It was
about
like,
it.
Don't think about it.
Don't think about it. Okay, you know what? Thank you so much.
That's the one thing I
Thank you
learned
so
from
much.
that H.H. Holmes guy.
Thank you so much.
And by the way, Quinlan killed himself with strychnine just a few years later. And his suicide note, the only thing it had one sentence that just said, I couldn't sleep.
Oh, God, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep last night, but I like being alive.
So Holmes would eventually be convicted of only 4 murders, but he would confess to up to 30, and always the adapter. Holmes went from publishing a set of memoirs professing his innocence before the discovery of the children and the castle to saying the bodies found inside the castle, they were all donated cadavers. I got them all completely legal. I'm a doctor. I'm using them. But once they finally proved that, once he knew that he was going to die, that he was not going to get out of it because there were no appeals in 1896.
Greased chutes. Down to burning areas.
Lime pools.
Yes, he finally said that he would go back and forth. He said that he was alternately possessed by or guided by the devil. He famously said,
I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact that I was a murderer, no more than the poet can help the inspiration to sing. I was born with the evil one standing as my sponsor besides the bed where I was ushered into the world, and he has been with me since. Or she. I do not want to discriminate.
That's right.
Cisgender.
Gender is fluid, too.
Gender is fluid.
Yes.
So Holmes was hanged on May 7th, 1896. He was not one of the lucky ones to have his neck snap when the doors opened beneath his feet, and so was strangled to death slowly over 15 minutes before finally being pronounced dead. As far as the castle goes, much of it was destroyed in an arson attempt in 1895, and today in its place stands a post office.
Hey.
Which is, I mean, our post office is fucking miserable enough. Do we really need to be on the lot of a murder hotel?
Yeah. I love the the federal government is like, we will take the land. We will set up an institution that will eventually, at some point, lead to massacres in offices.
Okay. Well, first thing we're going to do is just like, if that post office doesn't work, we're going to put in dog crematorium.
Yeah. Then we'll retry the post office.
Dogs. Yeah.
And that's it. That's H.H. Holmes.
Wow. So
Yeah.
he died slowly, which is nice.
Yeah.
He didn't
It
get
is
the,
nice.
Yeah, it's very nice.
15 minutes of hanging and struggling there.
You know, and it's very interesting because I would put him along the lines of like either like a very notorious evil man, where it's like, but it's interesting because normally I like how it didn't kill him immediately. There's something about that too, where it's like Vlad the Vampire, Vlad the Dracul, like how that fucking his prolonged death, how they killed him over days. Same thing with Rasputin and like Mussolini when they hung
give
Mussolini.
Rasputin a break.
Because Rasputin was a piece of shit. All right, and there's something adds to the sort of like mythical nature of this like legendary boogeyman of like it took a little bit to kill him too, and it's a long time for him to go down.
Rasputin sounds like something you take if you have a cold. It sounds like a good medicine. I like that very, very
Wait a second,
much.
is this the Reader's Digest Laughter is the Best Medicine section?
I'll tell you one thing. Oh my God, Reader's Digest Laughter is the Best Medicine section is amazing, and my father was always very depressed. He could never get it. He always submitted. He never got in.
So your dad was a joke writer as well.
He was a truck driver. My father was a truck driver. Yeah, he had a couple of bits up his sleeve there. Never really got to hear him. H.H. Holmes, people, I think, They throw that term genius around way too much when it comes to a lot of these serial killers, but there's just really no denying that the man was completely brilliant.
Yeah,
He was sort of good at it.
Yeah, it's interesting to actually build these things, to actually, it's like most of these things stay in people's minds.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. What a series. Great job, Marcus.
Thank you very much.
And wonderful research. Unbelievable.
We've got to give much thanks to Sammy Coughlin and Megan Fierro-Root on this episode as far as their assistance on research goes. Couldn't have done it without him.
You did say Sammy's name like he was a victim of a serial killer.
It's a girl.
It's a woman.
It's a woman.
You've never met
Yeah.
Sammy?
I've met Sammy.
You've met Sammy many times.
Oh, I love her. I've always enjoyed her. I really enjoy her.
All of our interns are very short, and that's the thing why I don't think you see them, because they're just walking around underneath the clouds by your shoulders.
Very good joke, Henry. You should do that for Reader's Digest. Laughter is the best medicine.
And guys, don't forget this Saturday, November 28th is the last podcast on the Left Live show. Henry's going to be here for the first time in months. It starts at 10 p.m. It's totally free. Get here early because I know we've got a ton of people coming to this one.
Yep.
It's going to fill up quick. So that's the Creek in the Cave, 1093 Jackson Avenue in Long Island City, Queens.
And
it's going to be great.
We won't be doing one in December just because it's too hectic with everybody's schedule. So this is the last one before the new year.
Yeah,
so,
this is
so
the
come
last
on
one
out.
until January.
Yeah, we sadly have to give deference to fucking Christmas.
It's a capitalism thing. Don't even think about Jesus.
We're going home. Me and you are going home.
Yeah, going home. I'm
Oh,
going
my
home with Marcus.
All right, follow Henry on Twitter at Henry Loves You, at Marcus Parks. Marcus is at Marcus Parks. I'm at Ben Kissel. Thanks for supporting all the shows here that Marcus and I do together as well. Top at Page 7, Roundtable of Gentlemen, Sex and Other Human Activities.
Yeah, and if you want your Last Podcast on the Left t-shirt, go to Cave Comedy.
Jeez, what happened to you?
Go to cavecomedyradio.com/merch. They're only $25 each for Americans, $40 everywhere else in the rest of the world. And also, I got a little project going on right now over on Spotify. If you want to follow me, I'm working on I'm doing a playlist for every single year from 1950 to 2015. I'm up to 1980 right now.
That's great.
Playlist is running at this moment about 1,200 songs. So go follow me on Spotify. Check those out.
And if you don't listen, he'll start smoking again.
Yeah, exactly. And it is keeping him from killing random people in his apartment building.
That's great. Magustalations. I'm just going to throw that out there. I rarely do the Magustalations. And people are wondering what it means on Facebook, and I have no idea.
We're going to catch up.
It means congratulations for liking something.
Great.
Sure. Hail Satan. We all know what that means. That means have a happy Thanksgiving.
And Heil Geen.
And hail yourselves.
For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to cavecomedyradio.com.